Today's podcast isn't sponsored by anyone, because apparently I have a bad attitude. Me, a bad attitude. I'll tell you who has a bad attitude. All of you. But that won't be a problem after I complete my plan for worldwide domination. Now, where did I put my to-do list?
All the tabletop role-playing news, we aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me today, as always, is
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. Russ, it is, as ever, extremely exciting to be here.
I'm doubly excited this week.
Are you doubly excited?
Yes.
Is that why you're vibrating slightly?
Yes.
Marvellous.
I'm vibrating so fast that I'm a blur to you.
Oh, I assumed you were just multitasking because when you work so fast, you become invisible.
That's it.
No, why are you so excited, Russ?
Because we've got a special guest.
A special guest?
Yes. So our guest this week is Marc Langworthy, who is the head of a Red Scar, who publishes the Devil's Run RPG and the upcoming Kings of War RPG. And
yes.
Also, he's got a brand new job starting today. I'm going to let him tell us what that is.
Amazingly excited and just awesomely honoured to become part of the EM publishing team as the 2000 AD RPG line manager.
I know, woo-hoo. You are the law.
Woo-hoo, I am the law.
Welcome aboard.
But that does mean for the rest of the podcast, you have to talk in either a Sylvester Stallone or a Carl Urban voice.
Can't be Carl Urban.
I've just finished watching The Boys, so maybe I'll...
Not that Carl Urban. I'm sorry, are you New Zealand or London? Can you make your mind up?
So it's a tricky mix. Yeah. Fantastic. So if I've got any questions about Judge Dredd or about cars smashing into other cars in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, Mark is the man to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Okay,
should we get on with some RPG news?
Oh, I thought we could faff around for another 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes, No, go on.
Sure,
we should probably do RPG news. It's good to help.
Frylock, who is... I'm trying to find his actual name. Where is it?
It's an intellectual property lawyer.
Yes.
Intellectual rights chap who has been making stat blocks, as I understand it.
Yeah, so he does these one-stop stat blocks, and he's got this big PDF, crammed full of them.
Yes. All the stat blocks you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. And he got an email from Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah, well, not just an email. It wasn't just, oh, hi, how you doing?
Well, it kind of was, really. It was not sternly worded. I have received some sternly worded emails from Wizard of the Coast before. This was not a sternly worded email, I'm telling you.
I thought this had a certain cease and desist quality about it.
It was actually quite friendly, I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, right. They might get sterner later on, but that first email I thought was actually fairly... I've seen worse, let's just say.
Fair enough.
But they asked him to take down his one-stop stat blocks.
Yes.
Basically because they're saying that the stat blocks are copyrighted and he's just copied them and then whacked his own copyright at the bottom of them.
Yes.
So he's an IP lawyer.
Yes.
And he says they're not copyrightable.
Yes.
Which is why he's free to use them.
Yes.
In which case I'm not sure why he stuck his own copyright at the bottom of them. That doesn't make sense.
What he's trying to copyright is the way it is presented.
Right.
Because he doesn't want other people to use unapproved stat blocks because, and my admittedly very limited understanding is he's just going for all the things that are sort of public domain monsters. I could be wrong. So no beholders, I imagine. But also including stuff from follows, but that would maybe be... but I don't know, can you copyright a hobgoblin? It's an interesting question.
But so I don't know exactly how he phrased his response to Wizard of the Coast. Certainly in his article, he talks about they chose to poke the bear and things like that. So he's quite antagonistic in his article. I don't know what his email back was like. I'm going to assume it wasn't quite that antagonistic. But he's basically saying no, he's not going to take them down. And he started a series of 3 articles.
Yes.
Where he's explaining why.
He's putting forward his legal defence in advance for Wizards to have a look at. I think that's a very charitable act of him.
Well, it's not like he's being sued. It's just a It's just a conversation at this point, isn't it? Whether it might amount to that eventually, I don't know. But at the moment, it's just a conversation.
Absolutely. They may choose not to sue him.
Yeah. So I don't think Wizards of the Coast have actually sued anybody over something like this before. I know TSI used to, but Wizards have sent sternly worded emails, but I don't think it's ever gone further than that, to my knowledge at least.
Okay, well, it sounds like it'll be interesting. Certainly, like, clarity about that sort of thing will always be welcome, because no one wants to accidentally infringe on someone's copyright.
Yeah, so
they want to deliberately do it.
It's probably, I'd imagine it'd be the first test of the OGLs, wouldn't it?
If it came to court, I can't see it going that far, to be honest. I mean, he's planning on 3 articles. The first one is entitled "The Copyrightability of Stat Blocks."
Yeah.
Yes.
The second one, "The Copyrightability of Spell Descriptions." Mm-hmm. And the third one, which is I think going to be the most controversial of them when he comes to do it, is "The Damage Done to the Gaming Community and Industry by the Otherwise Ineffectual Open Gaming License."
Okay.
So it's like, intellectual discussion, and the sound of breaking glass and drinking away from a whiskey bottle and saying, "Can your mother sew Jimmy?"
I am looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that one. That's going to be fun.
Be interesting to see how he presents the argument, definitely.
Yeah, the internet's definitely going to explode over it, put it that way.
Well, the forum has some interesting comments. It's really...
Yeah. But I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't know when his next article's coming out, but I'm definitely going to be following this thing.
Yeah.
To see where it goes.
In terms of driving traffic, it's absolutely been fantastic for doing so.
Mark will probably know a bit about this, because Mark also works for Modifius. But they've launched the Black Void RPG. Are you familiar with this one, Mark?
No, I'm not actually.
I think it's a little bit harsh to expect Mark to know everything that Modifius publishes.
Well, that's a lot of stuff.
Canonically, they publish everything. So
Yeah, I kind of... obviously moved on very shortly, but I work remotely, as I will be for yourself, Russ. So I'm not always in the loop with some of the stuff that happens in the office. But definitely not in the loop with this at all.
Fair enough. I mean, I'd never heard of it before either until they announced it. But it says it takes place in the distant past, and it's both familiar and outlandish in its dark and exotic ambience.
Okay, they're certainly throwing out a lot of adjectives there.
Yeah. As descendants
Black Void, did you say?
A dark Black Void.
Is it Black Void? Right.
Black Void, yeah. The cover's got... Let me call that up. The cover's got this kind of... I can't quite make it out. It's quite small. Let me see if I can enlarge that.
Is it quite dark?
Well, it's a black cover, but it's got what looks like a humanoid figure with tentacles. It is quite small, and I can't seem to enlarge it. So either tentacles or a humanoid figure wearing a dress with lots of ribbons on it. One of those two things.
Okay, so it's either like a Liffid or a Morris dancer.
Yes.
One of those two things. They're very easily confused. I understand.
Now, why has nobody launched a Morris dancing RPG?
I'm pretty sure it's powered by the apocalypse. And wasn't it one of our Kickstarters last year?
Was it? Actually, I think it might have been, yeah.
It could well have been. There's been a lot. No, I don't think it has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so tell me more about Black Void.
You want to know more about it?
Yeah, like what? So you said you've given me like a lot of information, but no
information
content.
Okay, let me call it back up again.
I'm just trying to find any news on it at all. Anyway, is it on the landing page? Right?
I have to see this Morris dance. I have to see this Morris dancing Cthulhu identity now.
Got it?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's a Google search. Oh, okay. Was telling me something about a Kickstarter last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that's the same one. How exciting! If I just someone's is that Hudson eating something again? Yes. So a dark fantasy tabletop role-playing game about the fall and resurgence of humanity.
Oh, is this a third party they're helping to distribute?
Yeah, it's not using the 2D20 system. It says it's uses an original rule set.
Yeah, it looks like Black Void Games are a publishing house.
Right. Okay.
So it's probably
so it's one of the things that Modifius is distributing rather than writing.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I am liking the artwork. It's got sort of a vaguely semi-realistic / painted style. It looks very 3rd edition D&D to me, but it's got some very interesting looking monsters, and it seems to have quite a strong sort of Arabian flavour to it, I want to say. There's a lot of people wearing flowing robes. There's a chap wearing quite a distinctive, what I call a Saracen hat, which is essentially, it's like a helmet with a spike on, and it's got a turban wrapped around it.
Okay.
Well, they appear to be using a halberd and shield, and that's not going to go super well for them, especially considering it's fighting something the size of a small house with extra tentacles for a face. The Kickstarter did very well. That's a lot. That made a lot of money, didn't it?
How much did the Kickstarter make?
300.
Over 310. Sorry, yes.
That's cool. 320,000 Danish kroner. So I'm not sure how much that translates to.
I don't know what that is. No. We can find out that. Alexa, what's 310 Danish kroner in pounds? It said £37. I don't think that's right.
I think you're probably wrong there.
I think it's £37,000. Maybe.
Just on the old faithfulxe.com. So about £40,000 in total.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Quite tasty.
Yeah, so decent size for a pretty much unknown Kickstarter, and now Modifius has picked him up as going to distribute them.
Yeah.
It looks quite pretty, I have to say. Don't know too much about it, but yeah, should be quite a good one to watch, perhaps.
Hey.
What do you think, Mark?
Oh, definitely. I'd like the kind of ostrich dinosaur crossover character as well. There's some deliciously dark artwork there.
Who doesn't want to play an ostrich?
Exactly.
Ostrich man. That's my new D&D race.
2 weeks ago, we had Kevin Culp and full giant velociraptors with ray guns. So
yeah, that's true.
I think an ostrich velociraptor hybrid is really dialing back the weirdness.
Fair enough.
Okay, what else we got in the news?
Do you want to see some more D&D Greek themed stuff? Because clearly there isn't enough of that yet.
So what would this be? The 4th, 5th game system?
Something like that.
Specifically Greek-themed
I've lost
D&D.
track.
Okay.
But
in the last year alone. Yeah.
Well, this one's an adventure path rather than a game.
Okay.
It's got sort of a picture of a Medusa / Gorgon on the front.
Yes.
Mother of Monsters. Mother of Monsters, yes. That actually came across my radar. I was like, oh, yes, that looks good.
Look, Mike Myler is involved with it, amongst many other people. Obviously, Mike is the person who runs Insider Magazine.
Yes.
For EM Publishing. So I've got a slight interest in it just because someone I know is on it. But that aside, they've got a load of different writers and illustrators and all sorts of people there.
Well, it's a very ambitious project that they're undertaking. What's it, 1 to 15 or something like that? No, 1 to 15.
1 to 15, yeah.
But that's a lot of D&D that they've got going.
350 pages.
Sorry?
350 pages. It's a big, thick book.
Yeah.
And it's an Greek-themed adventure path. So, looks awesome, to be honest. I might back that one.
Wouldn't be a bad choice. It's broken into sort of a modular theme, so that if you're playing a game involving islands, which I think quite a few might well do, then you should be able to pick it up and slot it in. But yeah, so it's not a. Oh yes, I think it had some. It's got some like custom-made classes that they want to implement, like hoplites and phalanx people and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No demigods.
Yeah. All the art looks lovely.
Yeah.
It's really nice art. I'm loving this art.
Nice. Art is something that makes you click through on.
That image of Cerebus is epic.
Yeah. No, art is always important. Yeah. And I mean it's got 26 days to go.
Yep.
And let's have a look. It's 25. Let's have a look. Right. So $10 for the PDF.
Yep.
$25 for the Adventure Path PDF and the campaign guide PDF.
The campaign guide.
Campaign guide.
You're not going to try and change the world's pronunciation on this one. I like it.
For the print version, you're talking $75.
Yeah. Oh dear me. I am tempted, but when does the Kickstarter end?
In 26 days.
26 days. Okay.
Saturday, September the 14th. Okay, next item in the news then.
Yes.
Monty Cook Games have a new
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Ooh.
It's called Liminal Shores.
Can I guess?
I assume that's how you pronounce it.
Is it a new version of their core rule set? A new Numenera.
It's a new Numenera. It's 3 source books for Numenera.
Oh, I wasn't too far wrong.
3 source books.
Yeah, so it's a Kickstarter. It launched a couple of days ago. It's already almost got $200,000
Nice.
with 25 days to go. So this is going to be at least $250,000, probably $500,000, which Monty Cook Games tends to do.
Yeah.
Good work, Monty.
Yeah, so this is 3 source books for Numenera.
Yeah.
One of them's called Voices of the Datasphere.
Oh.
So the Datasphere is a new aspect of gameplay where characters interface and explore the reaches of a strange new metaspace.
Oh. Okay.
An ancient alien data network.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then there's Liminal Shore, which looks like it's a new continent on Numenera, from what I can make out.
Okay. Right.
And then there's Edge of the Sun, while people are asking, why does the Ninth World even exist? Because 1 billion years from now, the sun should have eaten up the Earth, yet it hasn't.
Right. Presume they found some sort of sun extension program or something.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Have we got any like splashes of the cover art or anything like that?
Yeah, it's gorgeous production value by Monty Cook again, isn't it?
So what was it called? Shores of the Liminal or something?
The
wasn't it?
Liminal Shores.
Yes, there we go. Because there was just recently a British RPG called Liminal came out, and that was doing quite well
It was
critically.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Did it win?
Yeah, okay.
I think it won an Emmy as well.
Yes,
Didn't it win an Emmy? Liminal?
Oh, did Liminal win an Emmy? I don't remember.
Might have done.
Yeah. Well, that would be very good. A chap from Sheffield, as I recall, wrote it. We acquired a copy through various means and gave it away at the club using the kind sponsorship from Ian World. Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, that's a very whoosher sort of style front cover, I feel. It's like very dynamic action, people jumping in. Chap with a ludicrously oversized two-bladed sword.
Again.
But both the blades are on the same side. No, we've not frozen. I don't know. Have you frozen?
No, I'm
Mark?
still here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Okay.
I'm just going to carry on with my description. It's fine.
I wonder if... sorry, Pete.
It's sort of it's sort of an alien, like, but in the film style alien with a spaceship.
On with the news.
Yes, on with the news.
The creator of RuneQuest, Steve Perrin, has rejoined Chaosium to work as a creative consultant.
Exciting stuff.
I had to look this one up. A little bit out of touch with Chaosium's...
Oh, yeah. Tell us more.
I'm a little bit out of touch with Chaosium's products, really. I've obviously known Call of Cthulhu very well. Grew up as a staple on a table, but Glorantha and RuneQuest aren't places that I've visited, to be honest. I was quite... This just crossed my periphery in the news, really, and I had to kind of make me pause and go and look it up. Never connected the creator of it to the system or the setting before.
Well, so RuneQuest was like one of the first, I think it was the first D100 system.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's passed through different owners over the years. Avalon Hill and Mongoose Publishing, and then Moon Design Studios, and then they merged with Chaosium. And then there was a RuneQuest Kickstarter a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly. It was quite a big Kickstarter.
Yep, sounds familiar.
And Steve Perrin was involved with that. And now it looks like he's returning to Chaosium to work with them, I guess, on more RuneQuest stuff.
Right, okay. So fantastic news for RuneQuest fans out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Looks like it. What else we got in the news then? There is the Lost Omens character guide from Paizo.
Yes.
So Paizo's renamed Golarion The Age of Lost Omens.
Yep.
Which is a much better name. The world's still called Golarion, but the setting's now called The Age of Lost Omens.
Okay.
And this Lost Omens character guide has 3 new ancestries. races, plus new heritages and ancestry feats, and it's basically a whole load of player options, basically.
It's the must-have book if you're a player wishing to play Pathfinder 2. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, basically.
It's got all those extra options and like little fiddly details that you can use to customise your characters even more than in the base book.
Yeah, they've got some example feats. They've got like the tailed goblin, if you want to be a goblin with a tail, a monkey goblin, an ancient elf.
Right.
If you're a dwarf, you can have an elemental heart.
Okay.
Choose from one of the following types: acid, cold, electricity, or fire. Imagine having an acid heart.
Yeah, that would be kind of awkward, wouldn't it?
It would a little bit, yeah.
What, is your blood acid?
I don't know.
So, like, I don't know, you just sort of, bite yourself and, like, use that as an
improvised Geigerish, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very. So,
yeah.
These are xenomorph dwarfs. Xenomorph dwarf. Even rhymes. It's amazing.
Xenomorph dwarf. They're 10 feet. They're in the room. Ah! Oh, well, that's given me some ideas for a game I'm running later this evening. Righto. Xenomorph dwarfs.
We got a new article a couple of new articles up on EN World from D&D Luminaries.
Yes.
One is from Jonathan Tweet, who talks about his life with the open game license, and he talks about how when Wizards of the Coast purchased Dungeons and Dragons and TSR all those years ago, how they brought in the OGL and Ryan Dancy's plans at the time. So it's quite an interesting little sort of retrospective going back to that time.
Well, it's quite a surge in popularity.
And then the other column is from the one and only Ed Greenwood, created The Forgotten Realms. And he's writing about the origins of the character Mert the Moneylender.
Yes.
And how he came up with the character and stuff like that.
That sounds like it'll be a worthy read for all people who are fans of D&D history.
So we've got some big D&D news. Two big D&D newses. We have multiple big D&D newses.
Or is it the announcement of the trailer of the preview of the news? It's an important difference.
Well, one of them is an appearance on Amazon of an upcoming book, and the other is
an intentional appearance, or is this just part of the unofficial D&D hype generation by letting Amazon accidentally in inverted commas spill their latest things coming online? What do you think?
I don't know. Well, first of all, we got a new Unearthed Arcana.
Oh, okay.
And we haven't had one of those since May, I think.
They did say they were going to slow down the pace.
Yeah. So it's only 3 pages. It's 2 subclasses. One for the Barbarian called Path of the Wild Soul. And one for the Monk called Way of the Astral Self.
Interesting.
It's pretty
short.
Those
are quite spiritually themed, really.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah. So we got more D&D news. We've got even bigger D&D news. Are you ready for the big D&D news?
I'm not sure I can stand the excitement.
I bet you already know what it is, don't you?
I might do.
It was pretty cool to see.
Go on then, Peter. Why don't you tell us what it is?
Oh, is it that they're releasing an adventure pathway for Eberron? Or like a splat book or something for Eberron? Is that it?
Campaign setting, in fact. Yeah.
A campaign setting?
Yeah.
Excellent, yeah. Because they'd already released the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. But yeah, this is some new... Oh, crikey, I think it's like $70 book or something like that.
$49.99.
Okay, $50. No, I know listener Lee Donovan is very excited about this news. And would love to hear all the inside goss that we have about it.
We don't really know any more than he does right now, I guess. Basically, it's appeared on it's appeared on Amazon. It's called Eberron: Rising from the Last War.
Yeah,
it's coming in November the 19th. Yep. It's $49.99.
Yeah,
and it's a campaign source book rather than an adventure. So it's more like what was the one last year?
Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
No, the campaign setting. The one set on that big city. What's it called?
The one set on that big city?
Yeah.
Are you trying to talk about Waterdeep?
No. The setting. It was like a Magic the Gathering world.
Ravnica.
Yes.
Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. There we go.
The Ravnica. That's it. Yeah, Ravnica.
Right. Translating from Morrus to
Ravnica. Yes. I don't know why I blanked on the name. So it's more in that vein.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So probably got a fair amount of detail about Eberron, which is pretty nice. Quite an interesting
I
setting.
find that first bullet point quite interesting. I wonder if that means it says basically dive straight into your pulp adventures with easy to use locations, complete with maps, floating cities, skyscrapers, and more. But the pulp adventures makes me kind of curious whether they've made any tweaks to the rules at all.
Let's have a look.
I don't think you necessarily have to do that much tweaking. I have actually been playing, because I'll say one of our listeners is a fantastic GM who has been running sort of Eberron in a noir fashion, which it really lends itself well to. But I could equally see with all these airships and magical trains and so forth that it would definitely lend itself well to pulp adventure with a large amount of like hanging off the side of a train trying to like shoot your pistol crossbow at someone, or a tripcaster, which is like a magic wand that shoots like little firebolt spells, but everyone can use it. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. I think there's definitely a place in any game for like having like a running gun battle across the top of a train while shooting like little fireball spells at something. Just as a and of course where you got the train bridge. That's the word I'm looking for. A bridge comes along and it's like let's throw themselves down. I think that'd be amazing. Anyway, yes, and Eberron will of course do that quite nicely.
Yes. Well, this book has the Artificer class in it.
Yeah. Oh, exciting.
It has 16 new race and sub-race options, including dragon marks.
Okay.
It has a new game element they're calling a group patron, which is a background for the entire party.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm hearing here is Mr. Johnson and D&D does Shadowrun. I mean, I could be wrong, but
yeah. And finally, there's an adventure in there as well for characters venturing into the Mournland, a mist-cloaked, corpse-littered land twisted by magic.
Yes. For those who aren't aware, there were like 7 kingdoms like in this world, and one of them has exploded in a mysterious fashion. Nobody really knows that much about it, but it has led to like essentially a whole kingdom full of wreckage, mysterious places one would delve into. There may even be dragons in there. Who can say?
I guess there are some arcane creations running amok.
Certainly lots of. Amok is definitely how those arcane creations roll. Like we've been having trouble with Warforged, which are basically steel golems that are just running around, and we found one that had assassinated people and was clinging on the underside of the bridge. And the only reason I found it was because my character was a lunatic and was like, "Oh, there's rope marks. Well, I should follow it and see what happens. Take a rope, jump off the side of the bridge." Oh, I was expecting to just like end up on the end of the rope like the world's most angry yo-yo, and then it's like I'm looking at this Warforged man, Kit's looking at me. We're like, well, "This is awkward. Roll initiative." And away we go. Yes. Sorry, so yes, that is quite exciting. So I only found that out this morning, so super topical fresh. Good times.
One last bit of news, and then we're done. Trail Seeker, which is our Pathfinder 2 Patreon, has a brand new article called New Skill Uses. So if you head on over to patreon.com/Trailseeker, there's an article which brings new and updated uses for athletics, crafting, deception, diplomacy, intimidation, survival, and thievery.
Is this for Pathfinder 1st edition or Pathfinder 2nd edition?
Pathfinder 2nd edition. Trailseeker is now exclusively 2nd edition.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting times.
Yes.
God. New skill uses. Well, it's only been out since Gen Con. That's only about 3 weeks.
Well, that is true.
Yeah, and but expanded skill uses, I'm sure, and having like a bit of codification, I'm sure, could be very interesting for people. So yeah.
Right. Are we done with the news?
Yes.
I think we are.
Yeah. Well, we were just mentioning that obviously Ian World has put up a brand new forum for UK role playing. So that's exciting, and I'm hoping more people get on that.
Sure. I think it's basically just you that's posted in it so far, isn't it?
No, if you have a look, it's more than just me. I did the lead post, but that's because you told me about it personally.
Yeah.
Like about midnight. I was like, oh, I should probably post something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time to play our favorite game. It's time to play the game. Our favorite game in all the world. Guess the Kickstarter from just the name.
should we play our favourite game in all the world?
Oh, our favourite game in all the world ever, where we guess the Kickstarter for just the title alone.
That's the game, yeah. The game where I read out the name of a Kickstarter and you try and guess what it is from just the title alone. Mark, are you familiar with this game?
No.
It is the best game in all the world.
Yeah, so
I'm intrigued.
were you listening to the title?
Because all the rules are in the title.
Yes, I did, yeah.
It's true.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to read out the name of a Kickstarter,
Yep.
and you've got to guess what that Kickstarter is, solely based on the name.
Okay.
And then I give you some highly scientifically calculated points, and we see which of the two of you. So if you do 2 each, I'll let Peter start first, and then you can see how it works.
Yes.
Okay then, Peter, are you ready? What is
Yes.
Wranglers of West Hallow?
Ooh, that's interesting. Well, obviously, Hallow is a bit of blessed ground, or a way to bless something, rather. Wranglers of West Hallow, this makes me think of some sort of cowboy-esque related thing, wherein one plays cowpokes, I shall describe them as such, and they're riding around, solving mysteries and so forth, in West Hallow, which is an area which, because it's using the word west, evokes unknown and mysterious boundaries, as opposed to if it was east, where it would be like talking about ancient and potentially oriental like sort of themes. So if we're going to go on just the name alone, I'm going to say you ride horses, probably I'm going to say 90% chasing cows, and solving with bizarre mysteries in a sort of a wilderness area called West Hallow.
Pretty good. The only thing you missed from that is that it's for D&D 5e.
Oh, I thought I went well. So, no, fair enough.
Everything's for D&D 5e. So it says Wranglers Wranglers of West Hallow is a tooting, yeehaw, Wild West D&D 5e adventure book with focus on light-hearted comedic fun.
I see. I shall have to get a 10-gallon hat for my fight.
I do actually like the look of this. It says West Hallow is a town like no other, thanks to a clockwork construct gone haywire and a mysterious yee-hawing gunslinger-shaped spirit. The good people of West Hallow have been subject to a radical shift in culture. Okay. I think I'm going to back that one. I like that.
I think that's a very solid choice. Yeah. Get that going. And to be fair, a lot of the stuff from the Masterclass Codex, Touchroll class, will fit right in. Yeah. Not just the gunslinger, but all the occultists, maybe even the noble.
I'll give you a 6 out of 10 for that, Peter.
I like the light-hearted artwork as well.
Yeah, looks fun.
Yeah.
Right then, the next one. This one's for you then, Mark. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah.
All right then. This one is called Dusk to Midnight.
Dusk to Midnight. I'm going to say it's a post-apocalypse RPG. Maybe based around an alien invasion or some sort of horrific entity tearing itself through and ending the world.
You're sort of in the right area. It's definitely sci-fi.
Am I too narrow? Is it kind of more epic in scope? Space opera?
I don't want to give you too many clues.
Put your fishing line away.
Okay, Dusk to Midnight.
It's our favourite game in all the world. The one that looks so easy. You actually have to. Has risk and a test, having been on Shane Stacks, having it through on him.
Let's go more grand than space opera theme then. So maybe it's kind of the end of civilization out in the solar system, where maybe the sun has died out, which has affected the spread across the solar system, caused the collapse. Some post-apocalyptic solar system setting. I'm going to risk 5e again.
Sounds exciting.
Okay.
It sounds super grim, I've got to say. No sun is
maybe some alien
issue.
entity harvested the energy from the sun.
Well, you're right in that it's sci-fi, but then I told you that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Other than that, unfortunately, you got zilch.
Hit me then.
So this is a GM-less tabletop RPG an original system, not 5e, and it's about doomed mech soldiers in a losing war.
Nice.
Okay.
It says it's
a
game.
Dusk till midnight.
It says it's a game about relationships, both with your fellow soldiers and with the war itself.
Oh, okay.
That's quite interesting. It says in Dusk to Midnight, your characters will lose the war they have been fighting for who knows how long, but it doesn't have to be a tragedy. There's a certain kind of calm in the knowledge that as a player, your fate is fixed.
Okay. So it's basically you're doomed, but that doesn't necessarily mean death.
But it says it lets players create interesting stories that let their characters be vulnerable and make mistakes.
No, fair enough. Oh, that sounds like quite an interesting space to play in.
I'll give it a punt. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I reckon 1 point for getting that it's sci-fi, but that's about it there, I'm afraid.
Completely off the reservation.
Oh, well.
But Peter, the next one for you is, what is the Hope RPG? Hope.
Hope. Okay, the Hope RPG. Yes. Well, what do you think, Monty? He thinks he seems happy. The Hope RPG. Well, I'm going to say it's an original system. I think it's going to be a bit more sophisticated than Powered by the Apocalypse basic sort of storytelling, so it's going to have a bit of crunch to it. I think it's clearly got to be a game about hope, but what hope means to different people can be very variable. I think it might be, I'm going to take a bit of a punt here, what I would like to see is something where they're basically doing Babylon 5, but they couldn't get the rights, so it's sort of like the last best hope of humanity, and you're playing people who are trying to... In fact, no, I'm going to say actually more of a storytelling game, and you're playing people who have to face like some sort of situation with incredible odds. So potentially it's got sort of a fiasco vibe to it, and you're trying to overcome these problems to get to the end of it. So it's like probably like a play through it in a single session sort of jazz.
No. I'll give you a point for getting that it's an original system. Woo. But you lost 1,000 points for the 45-minute monologue of... so you're at minus 999 points there for that one. Well.
He's killing too.
It's a post-nuclear apocalypse base-building RPG.
Okay, yeah. So a bit like Year Zero. How does it differ?
The goal of the game is to set out into the decimated wastelands and grow the Hope Township, so Hope is a place, into a flourishing place.
Okay.
The provided map covers a vast stretch of area, central Canada to central Mexico, and you take charge of the common people of Hope and lead them through dangerous radioactive wastelands, pit them against foul mutated beasts, and ride off into the hazy sunset.
Mm-hmm. So obviously completely different from what I said. Main important aspects.
Okay, so last one. This one's for Mark.
Last one. Go
Mark,
on, you can do it.
What is Magonomia?
Magonomia.
Magonomia.
I want to...
My word's got no nose. How does it smell? Awful.
No, it's not no. It's not GN. It's GON. Magonomia.
M-O... Sorry, we're just trying to work out how to...
Write it down.
M-A-G...
M-A-G-O-N... O-M-I-A.
Magonomia.
Oh, that's what I said.
All I can think is Mr. Miyagi.
What's your instincts?
Yeah. Is it the Karate Kid RPG now?
And if not, why?
Okay. I'm going to go for a role-playing game supplement, systemless supplement, introducing different, purely based on how we pronounce the name, different mage schools, academia places, universities, types of learning in various settings. So kind of a collection of plug and play elements for various settings would be my guess.
What it is it's a fate-powered RPG, an RPG of Renaissance wizardry. And you're kind of right with the different schools. You play a wizard and you wield one of these different types of magic: alchemy, astrology, sorcery, theurgy, or witchcraft.
Yeah.
And it's setting in a sort of enchanted England setting.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's have a look. It says uses legends, folk tales, and literature like the witches of Macbeth, the fairies of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Enchanted England is a world of wonders and perils ripe for adventure.
But actually quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I enjoy Fate, but I've been looking for an excuse to kind of take it to the table myself, and I think I'd definitely use that as a basis.
I've never... Right, so that's it for our favourite game in all the world, but I did want to mention one other Kickstarter, just because it looks quite interesting to me. It's called Epic Legacy Campaign Codex, 5th edition, beyond 20th level.
That's quite a good name. I'm hoping that's a way to increase the ranks of your characters from 20th to 21st and above, and let you do something a bit more than having epic boons and feats.
Exactly what it is. You go up to 30th level, in fact. Through the awesome power of epic prestige classes that complement every base class. The Kickstarter's doing pretty well. It's got 822 backers as I look at it now, and it's coming up to $45,000, well and truly funded, with about a week to go.
So that will only be a couple of days if you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, by the time this comes out on Wednesday, there'll be 4 days to go.
Which means it finishes on Sunday?
No, it ends on Monday, August the 26th. Next Monday.
Clearly they're Kickstarter pros. So,
yeah.
Good choice.
Right, that's it for our favourite game in all the world.
It's the middle of the night. Your campfire is burning low, and the rest of the party is asleep. As you stand watch, you hear a rustling in the bushes.
I'll draw my sword and I'll shine my lantern towards the noise.
The leaves part, and from the foliage emerges a monstrosity, 7 feet tall. It has the body of a bear and the head of an owl.
Really? The body of a bear and the head of an owl? Did somebody get their Lego sets mixed up?
It's no joking matter. It advances on you menacingly, wicked claws glinting in the firelight.
You know, bears are scary. How does giving it an owl head make it more scary?
I don't know. Maybe it can rotate its head or something.
I mean, what would such a creature even be called? Bear, body, owl, head.
Well, you've never seen one before. I guess it's up to you.
Body of bear, head of owl. Bear, owl. Bear, owl. Bear owl. I hereby name this creature a bear owl. I would like to note, for the record, this is a ridiculous creature. I'm sure you just made it up.
No, it's right here in the monster manual.
What, really? You mean like that 10-foot cube of gelatinous jelly you introduced last week?
Yeah, that's a gelatinous cube. Classic D&D monster.
What do you take me for? Bear owls? Gelatinous cubes? I'm not that gullible. I mean, some of the monsters you invent are just silly. I remember the duck bunny, the stench cow with a K, spider horse, thought eater, the flail snail, the flumph, and the mimic, as if I'd believed those were real D&D monsters.
But they are, every one of them.
Yeah, right. Next you'll be telling me moonrats and growl and the friggin' hippocampus are really in the books too.
But they are. Look, I'm not making this up.
I remember that roving mauler. What, a giant starfish with 5 cartwheeling lion legs and 2 heads? Come on.
That's in the Tome of Magic from 2006. I have that book right here.
Listen, mate, I need you to take this game seriously. I can't deal with all these comedy monsters.
Sounds like you're going to have a tantrum when I introduce 1994's sentient stack of dirty laundry. The Ragamuffin from City of Splendours. Or the giant 4-legged parrot-headed Akira from 1981's Fiend Folio.
If I see one more monkey bee...
Surely you can't mean Monster Manual Thor's... Surely you can't mean Monster Manual 4's Howler Wasps.
I call it as I see it, mate. Now, back to this bear owl. What's it doing?
Well, it's hung its head in shame and shuffled off despondently. Its very existence ridiculed and called into question. You have mentally scarred it for life, and will spend the rest of its days with a crushing sense of its own ridiculousness, wishing that you'd simply slain it that night at the campfire. It will never be able to show its stupid owl face at the weekly Monster Social again. You monster.
And now I think it's probably time to start talking about Mark.
Oh, hello.
Let's ask the important questions, like, Mark, what's your preferred role-playing game system?
I have, like, 3 tattoos of Werewolf the Apocalypse, so I'd definitely go for that.
That seems like you're like quite committed.
Yeah. I'm quite.
that's pretty good.
Pathfinder and D&D in its various iterations and the staple of our table as a group for years. But I very much prefer story driven. So as a GM.
Right then. So you're the head honcho over at Red Scar. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And Red Scar. How long's Red Scar been around?
So we've actually been around as a company for nearly 5 years now.
Yeah.
And it kind of just started as a platform for me to be creative, really. Having been involved in role-playing games to some degree for a quarter of a century or more now, I kind of thought, I'm obviously seriously qualified to be able to go into my hand some money from it. It's been a steep learning curve since then, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of established it myself, but I'd worked with a Canadian artist at the time, and we were working on some homebrew Pathfinder adventure packs. It was a platform for us to be able to do that.
That's the way so many companies start, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then it led to me freelancing for Modifius, and it grew from there into actually being employed. And now this fantastic opportunity with yourself. Right?
Yeah, amazing opportunity. It's fantastic.
Totally.
Wait till you find out just how bad it is. You did see the invisible ink bits in the contract, didn't you?
Yeah.
The bits in white ink.
I'm trying not to say it as no one in the first book is cursed out.
Yeah.
Come, you just rest. Sure, you're keeping it all under like on a microfiche under like one dots on an eye somewhere.
So, Devil's Run, the quick start came out recently.
Yeah, it's actually been out for a while, but I managed.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that because it sounded like a lot of fun, Mad Max style, big cars racing through a desert, shenanigans.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last week, did we? Or was it the week before? I can't remember.
Yes,
recently. Yeah. And I've had a good read through it, and I'm a big fan of that genre anyway.
Yeah.
Like Mad Max, especially Fury Road and stuff like that is amazing. And I can sort of think I can see some 2000 AD in there as well.
To be honest, I mean, so Devil's Run is Mark Rapson at Word Forge Games, baby. He kind of conceived the rule set from some classic rule sets that you'll probably remember, Car Wars and Dark Future, that kind of thing.
I have Car Wars.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's kind of, it was Mark's homage to that, really. And again, a lot of that kind of 80s and 90s tongue-in-cheek, let's Stranger Things is a big thing at the moment, obviously, with that homage to that era. So there's a lot of elements of where we draw directly on the 80s and 90s in the setting itself. And I wrote a lot of background for Mark on the factions. And Mark just said, he said, I absolutely love it. How do you fancy making an RPG? And I said, kind of what I do. Yeah, let's go and do it. So it all grew from there, really. Yeah.
I got to say the artwork in that book, in that PDF of the quick start, it's gorgeous. It is just really, really, really nice.
Yeah. So Dominic is a Polish artist. He's kind of moved on now, but he originally did a lot of the artwork, and then, like I say, the covers painted by the Canadian artist I mentioned briefly just now, Toma.
Yeah.
Toma. So, I mean, Toma himself have grown into great friends outside of kind of working together. But yeah, he's got a really nice kind of abstract style to his art, which just grabs you as well. Yeah.
So, can you sort of like dive into the setting a little bit? So it's post-apocalyptic. I can never say that word. Post-apocalyptic.
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 Yeah.
Post-apocalypso!
So it's set an interminate distance into the future.
Yeah, so kind of 20 years after post-apocalypse, and we've left that timeline a little bit loose. Just time moves on for ourselves, so you'd be able to set it when you'd like to set it, really, rather than say it happened in the
Yeah, that also stops that thing of real life actually catching up with the year that you've.
And our cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when 2000 AD sounded futuristic.
Yes,
Yeah.
So Devil's Run, because we got this and we got Kings of War to talk about.
Yeah.
So Devil's Run. So the world has been divided into a whole bunch of factions.
Well, not the world. So the main game's kind of set around San Francisco. Which kind of survived the apocalypse due to a secret weapons system they were testing in the area. Whereas a lot of the rest of North America has been decimated and quarantined by the rest of the world, pretty much. So, which is where the crazy factions come in. They head out onto the freeways to race for the supplies that are airdropped in.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the game is built around a lot of the tension between the factions around San Francisco and the kind of zaniness they've gone into. So, I mean, we have like the Brit Attack faction who are kind of Texans that are trying to be British and get it horribly wrong. The Law who put themselves off as the good guys, but they're basically ex-cons that are really horrible to people. Hall's Angels who are kind of post-apocalyptic Hell's Angels that really look after each other and come across as the good guys underneath it all. So we just got to have a lot of fun within, expanding from the board game into the role-playing game to build.
So, what sort of characters would the average player sort of have a choice of playing in this system?
At its core, we use the 2D20 system, although we do provide the new Suede conversion rules as well. But yeah, so 2D20 kind of runs on archetypes.
World's Adventure.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So we took initially when we were still on the Explorers edition when we kickstarted. And then later on in the Kickstarter, it became apparent that the new edition of Savage Worlds came out, so we delayed the delivery basically to incorporate that. But going back to the characters. So the archetypes, there are 6 kind of core archetypes where you can be the thug. It's not called the thug. You can be the kind of kingpin that runs.
Bruiser?
Sorry.
Some sort of bruiser, you say? Not a thug.
The gunslinger, who's the shooter. The kingpin, so you kind of pull the strings in the gang and get everybody to follow your orders. The driver, so you particularly specialise in driving. And then the kind of fence type, who arranges all the gear that.
Sort of a fixer sort of thing.
Kind of gets the items that the group might need to be able to travel from settlement to settlement, or get the job done that they've been tasked with. Supplies being in short order in the post-apocalypse as they are.
Yeah. I could definitely see the whole Car Wars influence in there.
Yeah.
And you've got a whole section in the Quick Start, and I assume the full game probably has a more detailed section, but a whole section based on vehicular combat.
Yeah.
Which is a particular favourite genre of mine.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's a genre. Maybe a set of core mechanics or like a trope, perhaps.
I loved Car Wars. I can't find anyone to play it with me anymore, but I loved Car Wars. And
well, I mean, Wordforged, like I said, the board game, it has the beautiful 20mm. There's a whole range of miniatures created for it, which is why it's great to be able to transport that into the role-playing game. So we're going to provide crossover rules to hop between the two if you want to make it nice and fast and fun. That's the idea. Make it as kind of dynamic as possible for people to enjoy it in whichever medium they like. You can also just play it theatre of mind, obviously.
Yeah, but these vehicle combat rules, how much do they resemble Car Wars in sort of, obviously not the rules themselves, but in execution?
So in the RPG, it's like I said, it's modif is a 2D20 system, and they work in zones. It's quite easy to theatre mind it without having to worry too much about positioning. And whereas the board game, it's an evolution of Car Wars, I'd probably say. It's got the rolling road where you lift one board and move it to the front. Anything on the rear kind of drops off. It's a definite homage.
That sounds really familiar. Are there like little black plastic wrecked cars, and they're like obstacles getting in the way?
There are 3 tokens and things you can add in, but they're not. It's not the kind of.
Yeah, so I was thinking of Car Wars. You're very much a story-based sort of designer yourself. What sort of like length, what sort of arc of stories would you like anticipate people getting out of this?
So we're actually in the. I mean, the Kickstarter is kind of an intro to some free adventures we're looking to give away as free PDF downloads, and that would essentially form a mini campaign around change in leadership in the Brit attack.
Okay.
So there's going to be basically an entire campaign for people to play for free when we eventually get it out there. And hopefully at some point I'd like to revisit this as maybe a future Kickstarter or if Red Scar picks up enough in other areas to be able to revisit this and produce other campaign books to play. I'm a story-based player, so rather than saying here's a source book on a particular faction, I'd like to say here's a way to play in a campaign and give people options of how to play.
Yeah, certainly some localisation to the UK could be quite fun.
Wow.
I, for one, would like to see cars racing in a death race between Doncaster and Peterborough on that one stretch. I think that'd be that would definitely recreate the Friday night feeling.
Traffic jams on the M25.
We've had some
amazing.
We've had some interesting discussions about the state of the UK, so I won't. I'll say too much about it.
Yeah, I really want to play this game.
I'll have to get you a copy of the board game.
Okay.
It's a genre that I've never seen the board game, but I played that as well. Yeah, but it's a genre that I just love. Yeah. I just want to play it.
If only you knew someone who knew
I
how to
don't,
name.
Unfortunately. Can
Somebody
you think of anyone, Mark?
Somebody might be in Southampton this Friday,
Ooh, we could maybe try and do that.
Absolutely.
So this Kings of War thing. I had a look at it. It's not the 2D20 system, I noticed.
No, it's our own in-house system, which we originally conceived prior to Devil's Run, really. And we originally planned to use it for Devil's Run, but it just made more sense for us to kind of draw on that momentum and that is a pun, I guess, momentum that 2D20 had at the time. And being an employee, had that direct opportunity to say to Chris, hey, can I license the system? Which he was more than happy to. Chris is a great guy for helping people get established in the industry.
Yeah, I like this sort of. It's a bit like the vampire dice pool where you're rolling against a target number, but you manage to work the success of a complication if you exactly hit the target number.
Yeah. And we tried it. So the keywords are kind of core of the system, and the idea behind them is that they give people a kind of tangible couple of words really to draw on their role playing. So in playtesting, I had somebody playing the Salamander, Tess, who has the keyword celebrity appeal, and they're kind of they knew instantly how to play Salamander, or how they wanted to play the Salamander. So that's the kind of essence behind those as well.
Yeah, sort of like a role playing aid and gives you a bit of a guide as well.
Yeah, and a boost within the game as well. So.
Yeah, it's simple enough to get a grasp on, but it gives you like a fair amount of depth, as in the number of choices you can
So we're
have.
kind of diving into detail without establishing the premise at the moment. How about we just rewind a second and just in a quick nutshell, what is Kings of War?
So Kings of War is a fantasy role-playing game set in Mantic Games' epic fantasy world, and the idea is kind of bridge the connection between the really popular miniatures and background that's evolved through Kings of War, the tabletop war game, into a role-playing game. So the kind of idea behind that is that we'd through campaigns again and stories, enable the players to become the kind of own powers in certain territories or within the campaign. So they grow in, however that works out. They might become the king or the queen, or they might become a political power, or just the movers and shakers and legends in the world. And let them grow into their kind of own epic.
And this is coming to Kickstarter soon.
So you get the official date, the official announcement of the date. We're going live on the 27th, next Tuesday. So.
Ooh, exciting.
Exciting. Oh, we actually have to do this podcast.
That doesn't sound like us.
It's unlike us, but we're still good, so thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So how are you feeling about that? Excited? Nervous?
Very nervous, yeah. I have a great team that's supporting me. From Helen, my partner, who's kind of been here through thick and thin since the start of Red Scar, really. Through to a very good friend of mine from Odysseus, Gary Harper, who's kind of helping with the marketing aspect alongside a couple of the other guys. Just to hopefully get the word out there. We're coming up with some really cool kind of not innovations, but we're hoping to broaden our reach by providing some free crossover support for 5e. People might prefer the game's 5e flavoured. So
Yeah.
the quick start's been converted to 5e, and we're building a stretch goal to hopefully translate the core book to 5e as well if people prefer that. So
Right.
obviously
No,
Tricore's
good
my
choice.
baby, but I understand that D&D's a very popular platform these days for people to
Is it?
engage in.
D&D? No.
Never heard of it.
Apparently,
So yeah.
it's got a small following somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad.
No, exactly. Werewolf Revives for me.
So your Tricore system, or what would you say the sort of strengths, the things it does particularly well?
Like I say, for me it empowers that role playing with the keywords, and it's not and the payback system as well. I have a feeling that people are either going to love it or hate it, but it kind of engenders that you're not statically trying to swing at somebody and miss, or they swing at you and miss.
Yeah.
There's an ebb and flow between you in either person's action. So you might take a mighty swing by drawing on a keywords, but it's that kind of risk and reward, I guess, where you've taken a mighty swing, but you've left yourself a small opening where they can use a little bit of payback from your roll to maybe slip a blade in and catch you in return. We're talking about combat here. I'm very keen to open
You can
it
also
up
do that socially,
yeah.
like you've overcommitted, overstepped the mark, and then someone's like able to turn
Yeah,
on you.
completely. Yeah. In fact, somebody's working on some really nice relationship aspects for us at the moment as well. You again drawing on keywords to be able to build bonds and relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not trying to make it all combat driven. It's just obviously it is Kings of War, and it's that's the kind of
Well, we're
background
hoping
it's come
for
from.
war in King's
Yeah,
War,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. And the other kind of aspect we're giving back to the community is that the campaigns will provide options for them to be able to jump onto the battlefield and use their thousands of miniatures if they want to. So at certain points we can say, if you'd like to play this dungeon in Dungeon Saga, go and play it in Dungeon Saga. If you'd like to do this skirmish in Vanguard, you can go and play it in Kings of War Vanguard. If you'd like to do this epic battle towards the end of the campaign in Kings of War, go and play it in Kings of War, and this is what happens if the outcome is good or bad. And obviously, not necessarily saying you have to do that, it's just give people the option to. I'm all about giving people options.
So you're sort of like bridging the gap between war games and role-playing games, allowing people to like maybe get a bit of finesse in there. If you've got a group of really keen war gamers, they can play the RPG, and then if they've got like a big battle that comes up, they can just like sort of slide into that and fight that out and
So
resolve it that
how
way.
much sort of cross mechanical compatibility is there between the board game and the RPG?
So Tricore will always have a really light core system. But around that, as we've developed specifically the Kings of War, we've drawn on certain common special abilities that are themed throughout Dungeon Saga, Vanguard, and Kings of War. So it's easy to cross-platform between them. You might not necessarily be able to take a character into Dungeon Saga and then convert that Dungeon Saga into Kings of War, but you can certainly start from that same base into either of the platforms. So we've drawn on, and I used to be on. Well, say used to be. I kind of had a very steep induction into Kings of War by being on the Kings of War Vanguard Rules Committee. So I actually kind of helped that skirmish system develop since it first came out. So that's given me a really good insight into being able to port some of the stats across either way, really. So it's like we can use this in the RPG, but actually it will work either way. So it's just gaining that inside knowledge, really, I think.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's
I'm
right.
just saying, I've never played the board game. Can you sort of speak a little bit about the sort of premise of the board game and how?
So Dungeon Sagas, we mentioned HeroQuest earlier. It's that kind of really lightweight, enjoyable theme. We play it as a family. We can get out, set up within 45 minutes. You've smashed through a dungeon and hopefully gain some treasure.
Nice.
And that's what the kind of idea for the RPG is, that actually you can keep, if you only, I like to think, well, I don't like to think, it's kind of sad reflection. Do I want to use sad? I don't know. It's a reflection of society that we're generally time poor these days, aren't we? But so much takes up our time.
So it's a quick, fun game for busy people that can be played with all the family. You can really get stuck
If you
in
have a
that way.
role-playing game campaign running, and you can say, actually, we can't make a 3-hour game or 4-hour game tonight, but we can have a 45-minute dungeon raid that will still fit into the premise of the RPG campaign. Then we're all good. We still have a bit of fun with it, and it still has an effect overall in the main.
That'll
campaign.
provide that flimsy pretext you need to get together with your mates. And have some
Absolutely.
Well, that too.
Which, quite frankly, is what this is really all about.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. We're supposed to enjoy RPGs. Is that what you're saying?
Not just talk about them. Yeah.
I thought there was some kind of mental torture.
Well, we didn't want to take.
I did play in one of Peter's once.
Is that when you tried to get? You saying?
Yes. I was trying to use this system. What's all this?
Yes, but you
Dreadful
forgot to read the book first.
What kind it's all basically D&D, right?
Oh dear.
D6 is the same as D20.
Probably in retrospect, having a former NASA engineer in there, like correcting me on my science.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Game. The person who's written the game, like former NASA engineer, but just like tech geeks. It's like, great. Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll be sure to get your test for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think correcting science fiction on its science is a little unfair.
Yeah.
No, it was legit. I don't know why I said it would be going on the outside. Surely. No.
We do.
So with Kings of War, you mentioned it's based on an existing IP, but can you tell us more about like the setting? Like, is it like strictly high fantasy? Is it more of a low fantasy with more? Is there more or less magic? What's going on?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'd say it's mid. Really, it's not either end of the scale. So you have magic users. There are different schools of magic, so ranging from kind of universal around to necromancy, sorcery, divinity.
Yeah.
And they obviously, it's Kings of War, so they stride across battlefields, hurling around big spells that affect people. We've made that more localised within the RPG. But on the flip side of that, kind of magic items aren't to a penny. You have to go on quests to find them. Really, they're a massive thing to be able to get hold of. You can't just go in.
It's not a case of you're like, oh great, it's another +1 sword. I'll whack it in the sack to all the others.
Yeah. So it's kind of a mix of the two. And then there are some really fantastic races. From the Abyssals, who kind of crawl, tear themselves up through the big abyssal wound in the world. The Salamanders, who are the lizard folk. Various kind of kindreds of elves, so different subsets of elves.
Is it important to have the right sort of prefix elves when you go?
Yeah.
People love elves.
Yeah, and that's where the kind of fantasy elements come in, which it draws on all the. I'd say it draws on all the tropes, but there are their own twists on a lot of them.
Okay, and you're going for more of a European. Is it more of a European flavour that's working, or are there other sort of cultural elements that can play?
The background's still evolving, and that's kind of the fun area that we've been able to be part of the process of. Really, we've got a great collaboration between ourselves and Mantic, and they've really expanded the lore for version 3, which is out soon. There are countries that have a kind of human. Medieval kind of that feel theme to it. There are some Greek, Roman draws in other human countries, and then you have the kind of fantastical elves. Okay,
so sort of a mixing of the classical world and also like sort of mythology and maybe even like fairy tale sort of thing going on at the same time. Okay, that sounds like an interesting place to venture.
Yeah, there's huge scope to run campaigns all across the continent. They've classified as a continent at the moment, and then I'm sure further down the line they'll expand the world and introduce other elements. So we'll see where that goes.
And also, just one final question: if there was one mechanic from your game that you'd recommend someone else steal and use in their game, what would it be?
Definitely.
Keywords.
Keywords.
Oh, I love it. No hesitation. It does sound very strong, like the keywords in the payback system.
Thank you.
Could you give us an example of how the keywords work? Because you were describing them earlier, and I didn't quite grok it. But could you give a sort of?
Yeah, totally. And I might actually steal a clip of this to post up as an introduction for people to be able to work through it. So it's called Tricore, and at its core you have a base of 3d10. And that's always been the kind of case really since way back before we started playtesting the system. So your base dice pool will be 3d10, and it fluctuates based on keywords. And some of the keywords most of them will be positive based on your stats or your skills, traits as we call them in the game. Some of them can be negative through environmental effects that affect surrounding you. Or
so what sort of
injuries
keywords might we expect to see?
So you, like I mentioned, stats. So if you're particularly strong and you're swinging your sword in combat, which is quite an easy one to relate to, you'd say to the GM, because I'm swinging my sword, I'm going to draw upon Strength Surge, which is one of your keywords you've picked up in Strength.
Okay.
So that adds a D10 into your dice pool.
Yeah.
So that your dice pool's up to 4d10.
Yeah, you can say like I'm very buff, or like really sneaky, or extremely agile, all that sort of thing, or like silver tongued. Those would be things that you'd use in various situations to help you out. That's like
so a keyword is basically kind of like a trait sort of thing.
Yeah, essentially, and you get them based on stats, and then you'll get them based on skills. So within your skills, you'll take a keyword. It could be something simple as survival tracking. So because you're tracking somebody and you've got the keyword in tracking, you add another D10 to your dice.
Right, gotcha.
And then if you have a companion, that might be able to add a D10 in because it has, perception abilities itself. Particularly well honed piece of gear that might add some D10s in. So it's about growing that dice pool really to expand your chance of succeeding.
But the GM can also throw in negative keywords, like you've like got shot by a fairy arrow, so you're elf shot, and that's like detracting from your ability to do stuff, and that's removing dice from dice.
I am a big fan of, rather than having modifiers like +1 or +2, adding and removing dice, as you know from What's Old Is New, does 2d20 do that as well? You can add extra dice as well, can't you?
So it adds them, not so much to add them and take them
I just kind of like the tactile, physical feel of it. I mean, basically, advantage and disadvantage in D&D is that as well, isn't it? It's adding an extra. It's physically adding a dice rather than an abstract number in your head. And I always feel that that's quite a powerful way to affect the probability.
Yeah.
No, it's a like pretty strong mechanic. It's used in a variety of games. It's a pretty unique implementation here.
Yeah, I think Titan's the keyword as well. Like I said earlier, it really helps players get into that role playing aspect.
Yeah.
You can say I'm drawing on my strength surge, or even some of the charisma based.
Exactly.
Honeyed words is another one that we have, or celebrity appeal for being particularly.
Quick witted, always a good one. Hard to fizz wrap that one.
So do you want to talk about 2000 AD for a little bit?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Because you're literally starting today, so
yes,
jumping in head first there. So obviously you're not going to be sort of super familiar with all the sort of processes of the job yet. But what's your sort of background and history with 2000 AD? The comics.
As far back as I can remember, really. Back to the old kind of crinkly brown paper. Well, they're certainly brown paper and dog-eared now. 2000 AD that my dad used to hand me once he'd finished with them, Or classic stories. Kind of first appearances of Nemesis, even, which I've mentioned before. Real passion for me. It's been a real family DNA piece, really, for as long as I can remember. I love both variants of the movies for different reasons.
Strong words.
Probably quite intentionally.
They are quite different. Potentially controversial, but I can see where you're coming from.
So as the 2000 AD line manager, is there anything that you are hoping to bring into the role-playing game?
As in setting-wise? Or
anything setting-wise?
Well, we've had a chat with us, so, we have mentioned that we'd like to visit some of the lesson and I'd definitely like to see ABC Warriors across the years. That would be pretty awesome. Because they've pretty much been part of every major 2000 AD title at some point, from Judge Dredd onwards in terms of timeline. Slaney, Slaney, I'd love to... Slaney, however you'd like to say it.
I thought it was Slain, but...
I'd say Slain.
I've never actually heard it said aloud by anyone with the authority to dictate it, so who knows?
It's just probably something I picked up from my dad, to be honest, thanks to that. Slain would be epic.
Big chap, vaguely Celtic. All the women have massive 80s hair. He's got a two-handed axe,
mutates.
We know the chap you mean.
Nemesis again would be epic, and Darren second person about that since excellent. Really.
I think what we've got Rogue Trooper and we've got Strontium Dog already underway. And of course we've got.
Was there a talk of a film in the works? Or
it's a Rogue Trooper film coming by Duncan Jones, who is David Bowie's son.
Yep.
He made Moon. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, with Sam
and
Rockwell.
the World of Warcraft movie.
Oh,
Two
I
very, very,
really
two very different
liked that.
movies.
But both are pretty well done. So yeah, that's quite.
Yeah,
He's doing Rogue Trooper. So hopefully we're going to get Rogue Trooper out by then, so we can cash in on some of that. Well, I think we're kind of done for the actual podcast. So thank you everybody for listening. It has been a pleasure as always. Thank you to our guest Mark for coming on and sharing all this information about Devil's Run and Kings of War with us. That's it for this week. We'll be back next week. So it's goodbye from me, Russ.
It's goodbye from me, Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Rock Players.
It's goodbye from me, Marc Langworthy from Red Scar and now Ian Publishing.
Bye everyone.
Apparently I now have to read this to you. This is the official podcast of Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG news, which you can find at enworld.org. You can find show notes at morris.podbean.com or wherever you found the podcast. If you feel like they deserve it, you can support the show on Patreon. In return, you will receive exclusive bonus content. Just go to patreon.com/Morris. If you're interested in his babbling nonsense, you can follow at Morris on the Twitter. Send your emails to morrispodcast@gmail.com. Not all of your emails, just the ones you want us to see. That's it. I'm bored now. You can go away. Shoo, off you go. Goodbye. Get out of here.